All right, so today's one of those very special days in my world where I get to interview my wife, which is pretty exciting because it's not something that she necessarily loves to do, but she does come on typically 2 to 3 times a year, and she'll share with the community here. And if we've never met before, my name is Juan Alcala.
I'm Kate Alcalá.
And a little over 7.5 years ago, we made the decision to move here to Tampa Bay.
Gosh, 7.5 years, it's been that long already.
It has been a while. And the reason that we're doing this video today, and what this video is about, is the fact that we often get a couple moving to the area, right? We've helped over 200 families in the last 5 years move here, which is wild to think that. We're talking about relocations only.
Yeah.
We've helped over 200 families, and we have what's known as a buyer strategy session where we jump on a Zoom call, we help you unpack everything, all the questions that you have, show you the neighborhoods and the areas that you're really describing to us, and help you kind of put some things at peace.
Yeah.
Now, that's cool. It wasn't there when we did it.
Oh.
But one of the common things that I tend to see is we will see where one of the spouses or one of the significant other is like, they're all in, right? They're all in. And then the other side is usually the one that is, I don't call them more sensible, but a little more grounded. A little way. And, they can be skeptical at times, but it's like, hey, how are we going to do it? Like,
the practical person,
yeah.
this sounds great and you're the dreamer and that's awesome, but like, there's a budget, there's moving, there's what we're moving from, what we're moving to. I don't know.
Kids, all the things if you have them,
There's
right?
that too.
Jobs. There's so many factors, and we understand that. And I wanted to do this, and this is completely unscripted, y'all. These are great opportunities for me to get on Ask Kate. And she wasn't the skeptical spouse, but I want to share our journey because I think this can be helpful.
Yeah.
In terms of what it is, because we also had to go through all of those steps. We also were terrified about making these moves. And I want you to talk about that as a mom, as a wife, what that side feels like, because while we have been all in forever, it was like for 10 years, we knew we wanted to be here. But how do you make that a reality? And I think that that's the thing that people run into quite often that they don't know how to overcome. Yeah. And making that decision is a huge part of that, but it's not the only part. So in today's video, we're gonna break these things down. It's gonna be a little ad lib, so like I said, walk with us here, but I'll try to keep the framing as tight as I possibly can, because again, usually there's one person that's completely sold out. They would have moved yesterday. They're tired of the cold winters. And trust me, I get it. My theme to all of my friends is, one, what is the biggest difference between living in Florida and living in Michigan? And I tell everybody the same thing every time. You don't have to shovel sunshine. And while that sounds great, and it actually is, and it's true, we've also had our challenges. And if you followed this channel over the last few years, you know that to be true. Hurricane Milton came along, our home got flooded from the rainwater, and it was devastating. We lived in an RV in our yard.
In our front yard for over 7 months, and 0 out of 10 do not recommend.
Exactly. So we're starting with the ugly first on purpose, because that is what most people fear.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a legitimate one. Now, here's what's really awesome. Out of the over 200 families we've moved here, 0 of them
We're the only ones. So let us be the only ones who experience it for you.
Yes,
that'd be great.
They did not have that experience. So
Thank God.
we're blessed to have that happen. However, I want to get into why one of you may be feeling that way or the other isn't, and how we went about solving some of those problems, right?
I'll go back just a little bit, and I won't go too far because I'll squirrel and go out of the way. I've always wanted to live in Florida. Always, 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 since I was a little girl. My dad moved to Florida when I was 8, and since I was 13 at least, I remember making the decision that I'm moving to Florida. When I graduated high school, my teacher and coach handed me, The Places You Will Go, Dr. Seuss book, wrote me a message, and there was a map of Florida in it. So that's kind of the perspective. So I'm not the skeptical one, but I am the poke holes in everything one. How are we gonna do this? He's the visionary, he's the dreamer. I'm the, there's a budget, there's housing. How do we get there? We have 2 kids under the age of 6-ish, and I'm pregnant with our 3rd, and our entire network is in Michigan. Yes, my dad lives here, but he's on the other side of the coast. And that's not a practical hands of help. And our whole family has been full hands-on with our kids, and they still are. It's just at a different capacity. So yes, leaving your friends and family is hard. We have deep roots up north, deep, to the point where we still get to meet those friends, and we haven't lost that, which is great, but it has shifted, it has changed. Relationships have changed, sense of missing out. So that would probably I'll go deep real quick. missing out on things that we don't normally get to miss out on, and missing out on birthdays from friends back home or big things like that. Like, that's hard. So that is definitely a skeptical thing, but I still wanted to move here. So it was one of those things, like, if we don't go, we never will. So we had to make that decision. We had to go. Yep. So the relationships, they shifted.
There's a saying that I heard probably in the last year, but it really resonated with me about making this move. And it was, you're either going to get busy living your dream or you're going to get busy dying with it. And as crazy as that, you know, it's a strong statement, but ultimately someone has to make the decision. And we're the first to move away. I mean, like she said, her dad has moved away, but you know, that relationship split when you were a kid. And same thing, I'm you know, my family split as well. And I love my family, and that anchor will never go away. Yeah. But I also recognized that I was only going to be able to grow to the bubble that they were basically putting around me. And I'm not trying to put limitations on my family. I just know that I had ran out of the life that I wanted to live there. I think that's a better way to say it, right? Yeah. I was looking for more. I wanted a bigger opportunity. And it wasn't just about the sunshine. Yeah, that's what drew us here, right? Mm-hmm. Of course. You know, when you're from the north and you spend 5 or 6 months in the gray all year long, you know, the sun comes out 2 or 3 times a month in the winter, and then you get, you know, 18 weeks of summer and it rains 6 of the weekends. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like, it just becomes very, very frustrating. That's obvious. But what we didn't see coming that was a huge benefit on the side is all of the growth that came, not just because of the sunshine, right? Because that's not it. But when people move here, there is a sense of, we want to be active, mm-hmm. we want to be involved, we love our community, we love where we live. And that vibe, if you will, that culture, it really kind of, you can feel it. And then to be surrounded, what I didn't see was, like, this is a land of people who want to win. Yeah. And there's a lot of opportunity here, right? Even for someone who, you know, if you're an employee of somewhere, like, the growth here has been incredible. And Tampa's job market has been insane the entire time we've been here. Obviously the migration was crazy as well, but also the entrepreneurs and just the culture of, like, let's grow this thing together. Yeah. It's something that is very special here.
We've always wanted to be able to expose our kids to different opportunities and options, right? Like, we homeschool our kids, as some of you may know, and if you don't, we homeschool our kids. Mm-hmm. And my top priority is to make sure that I'm exposing them to opportunities and just to figure out even what they don't like, not necessarily what they do, because how do you truly know what you want or what you like in life if you don't actually experience it? So for us, we've been here for 7.5 years because we really like it. He might have an itch to move where I'm like, the beach is 2 miles away, bro. And like, no. But we would have never known if we liked it or not if we didn't actually jump in and jump all in. We initially thought we were going to come down here as snowbirds, and our family probably laughed at us, and we were like, there's no way they're coming back. And we didn't go back. We really didn't know how we were going to get down here. We just knew that we wanted to go. Like, the dream and the drive was bigger than any obstacle that was going to be in front of us. And for some people, that's not the case. Sometimes your obstacles are huge, but there are ways to overcome it. And we would love to help and problem solve with that, with you, and walk along that, whether it's a job opportunity or just thinking differently and having a different perspective.
The thing that I see in these meetings with clients is, like, again, they're both usually in the same spot, or we wouldn't even be on those calls, right? That's the reality of it. But adults will usually say things like, well, we worried about the kids, right? Mm-hmm. We're worried about the kids finding friends, and I get all that, but, you know, schools can be vetted, and that's the easy part. Finding communities that are filled with children, that's not difficult either. Mm-hmm. But it takes a little while for the adults to say the real thing that's happening, which is, like, we're afraid that we're not going to find our tribe too.
That's a big factor.
It is a huge factor. And once they kind of get that out, I think that's where people start to recognize that it is not only possible, but it's the reality that, you know, I always go back to the story of when we first came down here and did this. We didn't have these YouTube channels to vet communities and areas. Like, I did it the old way. I went to Google and started looking at places that
Google's the old way.
Yeah,
I'm older than Google.
I know, right? But, like, we looked at areas like Jacksonville because it was growing. Yeah. You know, we had to look at places that were growing. Florida, you know, in 2018, it was still considered the land of milk and honey for retirees, not some place where young people were moving to. Being in our industry, I know that you want to be in a place where there's growth. And Jacksonville was one of them. It was growing because of its medical, a lot of great hospitals there. It's the biggest city in Florida by geography perspective. And, it looked great. And then we went there for a week and it was freezing. And there was too many pine trees to the amount of palm tree. The ratio was off because in our mind,
the hot water tank was outside, not even in the garage. It was outside, and I went to take a shower, and I was like, there's no hot water. Well, there wasn't because it couldn't get hot because it was like 45 degrees outside. And they're not in... Anyways.
Not insulated enough.
No.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we couldn't figure and we're from the north, so we don't know any better. It's one of those things. And we discovered that. But what we learned was, even though it was beautiful in the sun, it still wasn't the thing that we were actually searching for. We knew Orlando wasn't on the table for us. The Mouse's house is not our thing. We're not park people by nature. If you are, that's totally fine. But we knew we weren't. Why would we move 1,200 miles south to live in the middle of the state? If we were moving to Florida, we were moving to a coast. So we knew that.
Yeah, I wanted coastal living, right? So like the center of the state wasn't even an option. Panhandle, I've never even been. Still to this day, I probably should go. Maybe we should take a trip. But that just wasn't on my radar. So honestly, we thought we were going to be on the East Coast for the longest time. And then just on a whim, while we were in Jacksonville, we decided, hey, let's go over to that side and go check out Clearwater. We've been there one singular time. Maybe we should go again. And St. Pete was growing. Sarasota, Bradenton, that was growing. Cape Coral and Fort Myers was growing. But y'all, forgive my ignorance. I homeschool my kids. We work from home. I was having my third child, and in my mind, Naples, Cape Coral, Fort Myers is retiree central. And I was like, our kids are already going to be weird enough as it is. I need to make sure that they do have kids around them, and it's not just because the grandkids came to visit for spring break. And forgive my ignorance, I'm sure that there is plenty of families in those areas. It just was out of the realm of thought process for me. And for us, it actually worked out in our nature because we like to travel a lot. And y'all, downside, if you want to take a road trip, it takes 4 hours just to get out of the state from here.
Well, and in all fairness, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, those areas, they weren't getting younger.
Yeah.
Right. So we originally thought we were going to live in Stewart, Jensen Beach area in the Atlantic side by her dad. We got married in Stewart. We really thought that was going to be our thing. We love it over there. But when we came here to the Gulf Coast, we checked it out because Tampa was getting young. He was really young. We moved here 35 years of age. It's almost 37 years on average now, which is a very young city. But the whole Tampa Bay region as a whole. But when we stood on the Gulf beaches, we just knew our kids are young. The tempo of the water, the cadence of the area. There's a real flip-flop t-shirt lifestyle here. I don't find it pretentious in any way, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but the Atlantic side of Florida is very much phonetic. It feels like the East Coast of the United States, like the Northeast.
And that's a geography thing when you really think about it. Like I-75 runs the entire East Coast, and I-95, forgive me, runs the entire East Coast, and I-75 will dump from, I could ride from Detroit all the way to Tampa just by staying on I-75. Yeah. So that aspect makes sense for us. But
again, it was getting younger. There was growth happening. And then, we were here for the first 3.5 years, just like, okay, this is amazing. And then COVID came and changed everybody's life. And this place took off like a rocket ship, and it hasn't stopped since. And what a huge blessing it's been. And, I realize we're talking a lot about our story, and please don't take this as, hey, look at us, because we don't think we've arrived in any way, shape, or form, and we love it here. There are challenges, right? Our home flooded during Hurricane Milton. It was not covered by insurance, y'all. Like, we had to bear the weight of that on our own. That is like worst case scenario for a lot of people. We feel very, very fortunate and blessed that we built a business that allowed us to renovate the home. It hurt a lot, don't get me wrong, but we didn't move. And that's the thing, I think, when people look at it, like, we still love where we live, and we don't have any intention of doing that. We've mitigated things. Hopefully we never have to have those challenges again. But the other tough parts about living here are it gets really hot, and it gets hot quick, and once it's hot, right?
Yeah, and y'all, for you up north, you just kicked off summer, and for us, we're like, it's 90 and humidity is starting to settle in. Yep. And that's really what happens in May. Like April, it gets hot. Early May, it gets hot, but the the humidity has finally arrived.
Yeah.
And so now when you walk outside, his glasses fog up, and
we call it summer senior. Summer junior comes in April, and then we get summer senior right now.
Yeah.
It's super humidity comes along with it, and we're right at about that time period. But we've learned how to manage our life accordingly. We travel during the summer. We'll typically go visit family up north. We'll go to the mountains a lot. We love that. If you're worried about seasons, because I know a lot of people do, we love going to the Georgia mountains in the winter or the Appalachian mountains in the winter. That gives us that color change, and it feels crisp. The air feels crisp. And we're at the point now where like 3 days of cold, and we're like, all set, time to go home, go back. It was cool to go to it, not be stuck in it, right? That's really what I believe about snow now. Like, if we're gonna go see snow, we get to go see snow. We're not stuck in it anymore. And I know that may not be your journey. And everybody has their own level with comfort with risk-taking, I think is the best way to say it. And this isn't for everybody. Florida is definitely not for everybody. Floridians are unique, right? They are very much live and let live. Let us do our thing. And there's a vibe and a culture that you should expect to, I don't want to say be confronted with, but like you gotta know what you're walking into. And I don't think it's a bad thing at all. A lot of people move here because of that. And if you're someone who is uncomfortable with politics and things like that, this state can be a little bit interesting. People don't walk around throwing it on you, but they also don't accept nonsense on a daily basis. The police are allowed to police. Politicians do their thing, I think a lot independently of what else is going on. Like, I really don't I've never felt influenced or threatened by anyone else's political views the entire time we've lived here. The community has been overwhelmingly welcoming because so many people are going through what we went through.
It's such a transient place, which going back to like the friendship thing, right? Because the real question really for a lot of families that he's talked to on the phone isn't how their kids are going to acclimate. Let's be real. Your kid will come home from the park and be like, I made 4 new friends. And you're like, what are their names? They're like, I don't know, but they're my friends now. Yeah, the kids don't struggle to make friends by any stretch of the imagination. They make friends in a paper bag and they have a good time in a paper bag. And the opportunity for that, because people live outside, go to the park, go to the beach, you'll find that. But the real rub is, how am I going to make friends?
Yeah.
Right? And that is where, like, I was smacked upside the head with that, because my friends and the people in my life either came through work, which I work from home, so that's going to be a struggle. You met them at other social places. Well, my kids are homeschooled, so I'm not meeting parents relatively. And whether he worked, so I met his coworkers. He works from home. Hi, I'm his coworker, so that's not great. Or they've been friends or been in my life for my entire life. So really, you had to be vulnerable. You had to go out and put yourself out there and be like, hey, do you want to be my friend? But the reality is so many people are doing or have done exactly what we've done or what you are thinking about doing. And it's been so rewarding. Those relationships, your vibe matches your tribe, right? And so you will attract who you need to be friends with and who you want to be friends with, but the opportunity is there. You'll connect with people, whether it's at church or whether there's so many festivals and other things that go on occasion in all of the communities that he's shared or you can dive into on the YouTube channel that do First Fridays or little markets where you're going to meet those people. So if that is a concern, please, 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 I encourage you to just jump in.
Yeah, the parks have been huge for the kids and us. Obviously, the beaches, the beach community, and think of it this way: one of the most common questions you're going to hear when you come here is, "Where are you from?" And if you just take a second to think about the frame of that question, people ask that because they know you're not from here, but it's not a judgment thing. It's because they're not from here either. Now, yes, there are a lot of people, original Floridians who live here. I get that. But 7 out of the 10 people that we have met the entire time we've been here for almost 8 years now aren't from here, right? They're either going through what you're about to go through, just went through it, or they're 5 or 10 years down the road like us. So when you look at this as a holistic picture, know that it is going to be scary. I always tell people this is like standing on Jell-O. When you relocate to an area, that's really what it feels like. But when you have a good team around you, you get somebody who helps you unpack the questions that you need answered to make a confident decision. It's like throwing boulders into that Jell-O mold, if you will. So you still have some solid ground. And I'll wrap this up in the most succinct way I can say it. if you're starting with the housing, you're doing it wrong. That's not how you move anywhere. And it's definitely not how you relocate from wherever you are. Start with the community first. What is in alignment with my lifestyle, with my goals, what we're trying to achieve? Because here's the reality of it. I always tell clients this. I can hand you both $3 million and you could design your dream home. $6 million between the two of you. And if we put that in the wrong community, you're still going to hate it. Everybody shakes their head. They know it. They know it. But if you find a great home, even if it's modest, in a community you love, you will have the best experience. You'll love where you live. You'll pour into your community. And that's ultimately what makes this place great.
Yeah.
I see more people pouring into it than they are taking out of it. And that's where I want to raise my family. That's why we have no plans to leave here. We love where we live and we're very proud of living here. The skepticism is completely normal, and I think, more importantly, I think it's healthy.
Be skeptical, right? Go to I hear him all the time, go to the grocery store, right? We have 900 different Publixes all within like 4 miles. That's over exaggerating, but also Publi? No. No, this is not one of those. This is not that.
Okay.
But go to the grocery store and you'll see, you'll feel, you'll see who lives in the community, right? And the reality is, whether it's us helping you or someone else doing the same thing or an agent on our team, they live in those communities too. And they don't want you to come in and hate it, because that's going to totally jack with the vibe. And more importantly, it's going to ruin your experience. You're going to be like, Florida was terrible. And that's not the case, because the reality is, if you go on reviews of like the Grand Canyon, and there's people who vote that poorly. So
y'all, if you have more questions, we can't answer them all in these videos, right? But if you have more questions and you want to go deeper, take us up on the buyer strategy session call. If you look down below, you'll see a link down there. It says thattampalife/contact. It'll ask you just a few basic questions, and then behind that, it'll actually give you access to my personal calendar. We'll jump on Zoom, we'll unpack. You can answer all of your questions. We'll open up Google Maps, show you the communities that match the lifestyle that you're describing to us, so you can start doing meaningful homework and help you make confident decisions and find out if this is right for you. Because I always say this very simply, and if you have little ears around you right now, please cover them, because I'm going to get very direct here. It should be a hell yes, or it should be a no.
Yeah.
All right, and pardon my language on that, but Florida's not for everybody. It may not be for you. Do great homework, get a great team, and you can have an incredible lifestyle here. There's no doubt about it. Any final words as we sign off?
Do that wherever you're thinking. Even if it's not Tampa and you're just kicking the tires over here, do that wherever you're thinking of moving before you go.
Absolutely. Y'all, we appreciate it. Thank you for hanging with us. I'm so happy that she got back on the videos. I know y'all love it. Leave a comment down below if you want to see Kate more on camera. Also, hit the like button so other people can take advantage of these videos too. And as always, until next time, go out and live that Tampa life.
Bye, y'all.
Later, y'all.